Welcome to the Veterinary Marketing Podcast, where it's all about helping your veterinary practice attract, engage, and retain clients. Broadcasting a new podcast every Monday from sunny Southern California, here's your host, Brandon Bashirs.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode number 144 of the Veterinary Marketing Podcast. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today's episode, we're going to talk about 3 trends that I think are going to be very important in 2019. Hopefully, it will help you to get more out of your veterinary practice's marketing, and I think it's going to be very beneficial, especially if you're trying to consider what you should be focusing on or what areas of marketing are going to be important to your practice in this year. So I think it's going to be great. Anyways, I wanted to mention a few things before we begin. First, if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe in iTunes or in Google Play. And if you could do me a huge favor, leave me an honest review. I would really appreciate it. I'd also like to mention this episode is being sponsored by usedvetequipment.com. Go on over to check out usedvetequipment.com. It's a website by Brad Haven, and it's been online for over 5 years now. What usedvetequipment.com does is it brings buyers and sellers together. So if you have any used equipment in your storage room that you're looking to sell, or if you're looking to save money by buying used, you can do everything from cages and kennels, x-rays, ultrasound, surgery, laser equipment, lab equipment from IDEX or Baxis, tables, tubs, sinks, and all kinds of other miscellaneous items. If you're looking to buy or sell, be sure to check out usedvetequipment.com. It's kind of like eBay for vets. The website works really well, and Brad set it up so that both the buyer and seller are protected. You can head on over to usedvetequipment.com to see testimonials and other things. One other thing I'd like to mention, if you've been thinking about any kind of courses, or if you're looking to improve your social media skills, Dr. Caitlin DeWild at Social DVM has 2 specific courses that she's releasing, Social Media 101 and Veterinary Social Media 201. So this, she did her first Social Media 101 course last year, and I heard a lot of really good things about it. And so if you're wanting to check that out, if you're interested in it at all, be sure to head on over to Veterinary Social Media 101.com. That's Veterinary Social Media 101.com. All right, so let's get into today's episode. So last episode, we talked about some of the biggest lessons that I learned in 2018, and I think that was super important. Now I want to talk about some things I think are going to be important in the year coming up. And so with digital marketing, it is constantly changing. And there's a few things that you can do to try to keep up on it. There's a few, actually, before we get into the 3 predictions that I have for this year that I think are going to be very important for you. There's a few sources of info that I like to use to make sure I'm up to date on my marketing info. Number 1 is the Facebook business blog, and it's also the Instagram business blog too. But basically, they release any updates and product changes, and it really helps me to stay on top of things because you're able to see updates as they happen. So anything from changes in organic distribution to new product types, new ad types, case studies, all kinds of cool things. If you search for the Facebook business blog, you'll be able to find that. And it's a really useful set of information and content that they put out to make sure everybody's up to date. Obviously, they're not going to publish everything there, but it's like main product updates and a lot of good stuff that gets put in there. So I just wanted to say that that's a great source to keep up to date on these things. Another one that I really like is searchenginejournal.com, and they have all kinds of digital marketing updates and info from everything from algorithm changes for SEO down onto AdWords and SEO and PPC and content marketing and just everything. So it's a really good news source to keep up to date on things. This is a little bit more kind of broad in things, so it's kind of an industry thing. But if you're interested in it and you want to keep up to date on it, searchenginejournal.com is amazing. So in general, I think that, kind of piggybacking off last week's episode, I think that moving forward, especially on Facebook and Instagram, there's going to be a lot more competition in the ad space. It just is happening on Facebook. I think that the user growth is going to continue to level off, and it may even slightly decrease. It's really interesting. There's been several polls that I've seen that say that people that are, I think it's below 35, are fleeing from Facebook in record numbers. I don't know if that's true. It might just be, I haven't seen the user data from Facebook to support this, but when they're polled, they say that they're not using the app as much, and it's just interesting to note. Now, I do think that a lot of the veterinary practices out there benefit from having audiences that are 35 and over, because that is a huge demo of people that you're trying to reach. And so I think that it's definitely valuable to have a Facebook strategy in 2019. But I think that adding Instagram is going to be a very important demographic. If you haven't done that already, I really, really suggest using Instagram. You're still able to get organic distribution on Instagram. You're still able to get views on your stories when you hashtag your stories. And I think that especially if you want to kind of streamline your content creation by linking both Instagram and Facebook together, which I think is a great strategy, so that when you post to Instagram, it automatically goes to your Facebook page. I really think that that is worthwhile. But I think that Instagram is going to be a lot more important than it was in previous years. And so figuring out what kinds of offers work on Instagram, I think stories are fantastic for that. But I do believe that we're still in this short period where we can get organic growth on our page, but that will likely be taken away relatively soon. And my guess is that what happened last year on Facebook with pages, where you don't get distribution on posts for business pages, I think that that's going to happen in Instagram. And the reason why I think that's going to happen on Instagram is because Facebook will have pressure to increase their ad revenue, and they only have so much space that they can use on Facebook. So that's their workhorse. They're using that to generate numbers. And once they kind of top that out, and it does top out somewhere, especially if new users growth stops, they're going to have to find places to put ads, and Instagram is their next place, in my opinion. So I think that Instagram will become a lot more ad heavy than it already is, and it already is very ad heavy. But you can already see that there's new ad types that are really, really interesting, and I think they're great. And as they get rolled out and are new, they're going to be very, very effective, but it's going to start to get more saturated. And so you're going to have to see the same kind of paid strategy that you see in Facebook right now, but on Instagram. So that being said, it still is a land grab right now, where you can go out and get followers, and you can build your channel, or your profile rather, and connect with your clients and your audience there. So I think that there will always be a good strategy there. You can also go through and search by location and find pictures of dogs and comment and engage and build connection with people there. I think that that's a great strategy for Instagram too. So that being said, I think Instagram is going to be, if you've been considering really going all in on Instagram, I think that this year is going to be a great year to do that, to go all in on Instagram. I do still think that Facebook is great. I love Facebook. Until Facebook goes the way of MySpace, I think I will always love Facebook. So that's kind of prediction number one, is that 2019 will be the year of Instagram. And if you're thinking about going in there, go all in on it. The other thing that I think we're going to see a lot of is Facebook's ad costs are going to go crazy this year. Not crazy like so prohibitively expensive that you can't get in on it, but I'm already seeing large advertisers jump in. Acura is running ads at scale for mid-roll ads. So that being said, I think that we're going to have a lot of larger companies jump in, especially as the economy starts to turn a little bit here and things start to slow down. I think that these large companies are going to start saying, hey, I need some kind of trackable, sustainable way to measure ROI. Doing a Super Bowl commercial doesn't cut it, where people, were spending millions and millions of dollars for a short 30-second commercial. It's not going to cut it anymore. I need to have a very specific, get the most bang for your buck campaign. And so as that happens, we're going to have large-scale ad buys happening from basically, again, the attention is limited, so we can only do one of two things, like either get more users or the prices go up for the ads because the demand is up. And so I do think that we're going to see more large-scale companies jump into Facebook and Instagram, and it's gonna get real, and it's gonna get competitive. Now, the advantage that you have is, as a small business, you can connect more with your community. The large businesses have, amazing creative teams and all the best tools and technical things, but you have to think about what makes you different. And typically it's the people that work in your practice, the stories of the people that you have coming in your practice, and just everything that makes you you and your practice, what makes your practice you. So it's important that you connect with your clients in a way that it helps to convey that, so that they'll want to follow you. And hopefully you're going to be able to attract people that know, like, and trust you, and that you like as well. So posting things that really help convey what you're all about, and at the same time being entertaining and educational and helpful, it's going to be really, really important. Okay, the last thing that I think is going to be huge in 2019 is an older model of marketing. And I did hint at this last time, but I think that email is going to become more important than ever. And it's actually going to become more valuable than ever. The reason for that is that, especially with last year's scandals as far as privacy and data and things, permission is becoming more and more valuable. People are becoming more protective of their privacy in general. And so if you can capture email addresses and use those for marketing, it's going to be way more valuable than it ever has been before. If you can get people to open your emails and provide value through email, you're going to be far ahead of the competition, in my opinion. And I do think that we're going to be able to continue to use email addresses as ways to generate retargeting lists. I don't think that's going to go away anytime soon. I am not sure about pixel audiences, because, it's really interesting when you look at Facebook ad guidelines and things. And I was actually talking to a Facebook rep today, and if you use the word you or your in ads now, basically all of the ad campaigns and ad rules that they're setting up, they don't want it to seem like you're being targeted in an ad specifically. So it's really interesting. I'll do ads for people offering CE, right? And when you say the word veterinarian in the ad, and you're targeting veterinarians, you'll get your ad disapproved. So if you call out the person who the ad is for, you get disapproved, because they're like, hey, we don't want these people to know you're targeting them. So that's kind of the way the pendulum swung. It swung all the way in the other direction. You can't even call out your audience in the headline of your ad, because they don't want it to seem like they're being targeted and make people apprehensive about using the app. It's interesting too. Just the way that they are trying to convey their product, and really in general kind of be more like, hey, we're protecting your privacy and we're taking care of you. In reality, though, not much has changed from the targeting perspective. You can still target a lot of really good data. Facebook's been building up their own data in the past year. They were using third-party data collection. Now they're using first-party data collection. So all of these privacy issues and concerns that are going on right now, I think that just makes email even more important, and not only even more important, but even more valuable to your practice, because you're able to control this. You're able to send out when you want to, and you can really use email to grow your practice in 2019. And that's really silly, because it is like the oldest marketing method in digital marketing in general. So if you're sending out emails, make sure that you know what your clients want to be hearing from you. Make sure you're setting expectations, and be sure to email your list. Put calls to action out there so that they can actually take some kind of action that's going to generate revenue for your practice. So just to cover and kind of recap the three things that I think are going to be very, very important in 2019. Instagram is going to, at some point in the near future, lose the organic reach that you're able to get through just posting and hashtagging and stuff. I think they're going to get pretty saturated with advertisers and start to really put in different ad types and get fancy with their ads, which is good for an advertiser's perspective, but for people still looking for organic, it's not the best thing. I think that Facebook ad costs are going to go up with the other large ad buyers getting into the space, especially moving away from the more traditional like branding type ads that are out there right now. And then last, the importance of email in 2019. It's only going to get more and more important that you have a list, that you're building it, and that you're using it to grow your business. So I hope this was helpful today. If you have any questions, comments, need help with anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And if you could do me a huge favor and be sure to leave me an honest review in iTunes, I would really appreciate it. So be sure to listen to next week's episode, and I'll see you there.